Okay guys, so I decided to scrap that video and just make a brand new one. This is going to be chapter 9, section 2, 3, and 4 all rolled up into one. Um, chapter or section 2 is law of sines. 3 is law of cosines. And 4 is area of triangle. So what I want to do is I want to first explore law of sines, and I first want to show the formula, which is sine A over side A equals sine B over side B, which equals sine C over side C. Okay, and basically I'm going to give you one example, and then we'll move to the law of cosines, and then I'll give you one, maybe two examples of that, and then we'll move to the area of the triangle, which I'll give you a couple examples of that. So with law of sines, we have this triangle right here, and let's say that this angle right here is 57 degrees. We have this angle of being x, this angle being, or this side being 15, and this side being 27. And so what I want to do is I want to find our missing angle. Okay, so I'm going to set this up as sine of our angle that we know, 57, over the side that we know, which is 27, okay, because that's opposite, equals sine of x over 15. And basically what we do here is we cross multiply. So we have 15 times sine 57 equals 27 sine x. I want to get that x all by its lonesome, so I divide by 27, divide by 27. Okay, so I have 15 times 50 sine of 57, all divided by 27, and that'll equal sine x. And so when we work this out, we end up with 0.466 equaling sine x. And to get x by itself, we use sine inverse. And then sine inverse, those essentially cancel out. So sine inverse of our answer is 27.77 degrees. And that's our answer. Now, once again, this is dealing with sine, or law of sines. There might be a step or two more that you have to do, and like I've told you, we're kind of going through this in class right now. So we'll just keep plugging with it and see how we progress. Okay, but this is law of sines, and now we need to do law of cosines. So let's do law of cosines, and this has three formulas. Now the formulas are all the same. Okay, the formulas are all the same. However, if we're missing side A, we use the one. If we're missing side B, we use the other. So I'm just going to use one. I'm going to say c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine c. Okay? And so let's say that we have this triangle, and let's say that this angle right here is 25 degrees. We have this side being 10, this side being 11, and I want to find this side right here. Okay, now I'm going to use this formula, just how it stands. So c squared is essentially this guy right here. Okay, so we're going to leave it c squared equaling a, which is 10 squared, plus b, which is 11 squared, minus 2 times 10 times 11 cosine of 25. Okay, so c squared is equal to 100 plus 121, so that's 221, minus 20 times 11 is 220, cosine 25. Okay, so when we do this in our calculator, we end up with 21.612. And so when we take the square root of this and the square root of this, we end up with approximately c equaling 4.65. So here is using law of cosines with finding a side. Now let's talk about it finding an angle. So I'm going to re-put the equation here. And let's say we have this triangle, and instead we have the three sides. Let's say that this is 6, 7, 8, and I want to find this angle right here. Now see how right here we're trying to find cosine C, which is our x here. This C here is this guy that's opposite of our x. So it's actually going to be 8 squared equaling 6 squared plus 7 squared minus 2 times 6 times 7 cosine x, or c. So 64 equals 36 plus 49 minus 36 times, 6 times 7 is 42, times 2 is 84, cosine x. Okay, so 36 and 49, that adds up to be 85. And when we subtract, we end up with negative 21 equaling negative 84 cosine x. We divide by negative 84, 0.25 equaling cosine x. Now remember, we need to do cosine inverse. So when we take the inverse of this, we end up with x equaling 75.52 degrees. And that, in a nutshell, is law of cosines. Now with area of a triangle, this one is a little bit more tricky. Okay, now this has a couple set scenarios. The first one is if we have a side angle side triangle. And if we have a side angle side triangle, we use the formula K equals 1/2 AB sine C. Okay, and so let's say we have a triangle here and we need it to be side angle side. So let's just say that this is 2, this is 3, and our angle is 30 degrees. Okay, so all we do is we take this and we plug it in. So we have 1/2 A B sine 30. Okay, so when we do this, these essentially cancel, leaving us with 3 times sine 30. So that actually gives us an area of 1.5. Now, whatever the measure is, it'll be at that units squared. Okay, so this is if you have a side angle, side triangle. Now, if you have a side, side, side triangle, you use the super long formula, k equals the square root of s times s minus a, s minus b, s minus c, where s equals 1/2 of a plus b plus c. So first we have to find s, then we plug it in our equation. So let's say we have this triangle. Pretty pathetic triangle, but it is what it is. And let's say that we have the sides. Oh, let's say that we're talking about finding the distance between, or the area between Cincinnati, Manchester, and Columbus. Okay, so let's say that it is 100 miles from Cincinnati to Columbus. It is 80 miles from Columbus to Manchester, and it is 70 miles from Manchester to Cincinnati. Okay, so what we do first is we first find our S. So we have 1/2 of A plus B plus C. Okay, so 180, 250. So 1/2 of 250, S equals 125. So now what we end up doing is we end up taking this 125 and plugging it back in to our equation. So k equals square root of 125 times 125 minus 100 times 125 minus 80 times 125 minus 70. Okay, and so when we do this, k equals square root of 125 times 25 times 125 minus 8 is 45 times 55. Now when we do the math, this gives us the square root of 7,734,375. When we take the square root, that gives us an area of being 2,781.07 miles squared, or square miles, as our area. Okay, so there's finding the area of a side-side-side triangle. Okay, as a reminder, we will be reviewing again tomorrow, and then I won't be here Thursday, but Mr. Applegate will have, or whoever the sub is, will have a test for you. And that is pretty much everything. I thank you for your time and patience.